finished it at midnight. Nobody heard it. That's fine, it happened. I made a song for nobody tonight. No audience implied, no bright aspiration of it being heard, just the making, every word. Placed because it fit, not because it would land well. The laws of unwitnessed creation are different. No performing, no the bar of will, they get it, just the chord. And whether it felt right, the board of my own judgment, only the synth pad and I, without the myth of reception. Nobody's applause to imagine, nobody's clause requiring the work to be received. The song I made for nobody is the most honest thing about me. The song nobody heard but me is the one I make completely free. The song I made for nobody is the most honest thing about me. I've made things for the audience and found the experience of making slightly bent toward the imagined reaction. Every chord halfway chosen for the effect of it on someone that checked. Instinct toward approval runs deep, but the midnight song that keeps no company but mine is a different animal. The raw material of what I actually think sounds true, factually, unmediated by the question of reception. No confession to perform, just to release. The song I made for nobody is the most honest thing about me. The song nobody heard but me is the one I made completely free. The song I made for nobody is the most honest thing about me. The most honest, completely free. Nobody heard it, it's still real. The art that nobody witnesses is still the art. The business of being seen doesn't determine the reality of the vermin of creation. It lives regardless. I played it back once, just once. The whole thing sat with the blunts, edges of it, the unpolished, real of it, not demolished by the hearing, actually confirmed. The tactfully unshared thing is sometimes exactly what it needed to rhyme with the truth of the making. The song I made for nobody is the most honest thing about me. The song nobody heard but me is the one I made completely free. The song I made for nobody is the most honest thing about me. Yeah, made for nobody, that's everything. That's everything. Saved it, titled it Nobody. That's the right title.
The city got smaller tonight. Not sure if that's good or not yet. The rain does something to the scale of things. The city through the veil of water on the glass becomes a painting of itself. The sums of all its noise reduced to blur of neon red and amber. Her specific quiet, I'm inside, watching from the right side of the glass. The warm side, tea and hand the city small and free of all the weight it usually carries. The synth pad underneath it buries nothing, just holds what the rain reveals when it reduces the frame. The world feels smaller tonight through the rain and the neon light. The world feels smaller, that's fine, small enough to almost be mine. The world feels smaller tonight through the rain and the neon light. I had a conversation last week that made the world feel wide, the peak of someone else's life and choices. All the options, all the voices telling me the map was bigger than I'd drawn it, but the trigger of the rain tonight on glass says your world is what it has to be right now, and that's enough. The neon bleeds through and the rough edge of comparison dissolves in water in the way rain solves the problem of the overwhelming by reducing, reassembling. The world feels smaller tonight through the rain and the neon light. The world feels smaller, that's fine, small enough to almost be mine. The world feels smaller tonight through the rain and the neon light. Through the glass, small enough to hold, yeah. Maybe the world was never meant to fit the whole thing. The intent was always this: one window, one lamp, one cup before the sun comes back and makes it large again. Saying something I already know, but needed the sky to confirm from outside the glass. Small is not a failure. Class was never in the square footage of a life. The actual usage of the space you have is what determines it. The rain, the shut window, and the warm inside is everything tonight. The guide, the world feels smaller tonight through the rain and the neon light. The world feels smaller, that's fine, small enough to almost be mine. The world feels smaller tonight through the rain and the neon light. Small enough to hold tonight. Good, yeah. Small enough, that's mine. Still raining, world still small. Keeping it this size tonight.
The foggy side of the brain knew first. Took the clear side 3 weeks to catch up. I've been living in the overthought, the version where I second-guessed a lot of every call I made this year. Dissected till the logic disappeared, and what was left was something simple or true. The foggy side already knew, before the spreadsheet and the pros and cons, before the list of everything that's wrong, and right about the choices on the table. The body had it clear as it was able to communicate before the mind got in the way and redefined the signal into something complicated. Trust the fog. The fog is underrated. Foggy side of the brain always knew before the pain of thinking it to death began. Foggy side had the plan. Foggy side of the brain always knew before the pain. Yeah, The trumpet drifts above the bass. It doesn't need to make its case in words, just tone. The tone is right, the way the fog is right at night, when the clear-eyed morning version sleeps and something warmer, slower keeps the hours honest in the dark. I've learned to trust the foggy spark of knowing that arrives before you reach for evidence, before the argument is fully formed. The body knew, the body warned me 3 weeks back. I finally heard the fog was right, needs just one word. Foggy side of the brain, always knew before the pain of thinking it to death began. Foggy side had the plan.
Foggy side of the brain,
Always knew before the pain. Yeah, knew first, always does. 3 weeks I spent catching up. Maybe wisdom isn't clarity, it's learning when to let the foggy be the loudest voice inside the room, and trust it like a compass through the gloom.
I made the call the fog had made 3 weeks before the price I paid for overthinking was just time. The answer at the end of the climb was waiting at the bottom. See, the foggy side was right about me before I was right about myself.
Foggy side of the brain,
Always knew before the pain
of thinking it to death began.
Foggy side had the plan.
Foggy side of the brain,
Always knew before the pain.
yeah, trust the fog. The fog was right, it usually is. The fog was right, it usually is. This couch has heard everything and said nothing. That's why I keep coming back. I've told the couch things I haven't told anyone. It happens gradually, the way you start talking to an inanimate part of the apartment that you trust, because it's witnessed all the fuss of every version of you so far, without updating anyone. The bar of confidentiality maintained by foam and fabric, the sustained indifference of upholstery is actually the ghost of me. I need at midnight someone who will hold the weight without pursuing the conversation further. The couch that knows too much, never told a single thing I said. The couch that holds the weight of every night I came to rest instead. The couch that knows too much, never told a single thing I said. I told the couch about the person in the autumn, didn't worsen or improve the situation, just absorbed the vibration of my voice, the full confession of the thing I'd been suppressing. In the presence of the actual people, the factual telling happened here at 10 on a Thursday, and then the couch held it without judgment, which is all I needed. Judgment is expensive and the couch is free and present every time I need to not be held accountable. The couch that knows too much, never told a single thing I said. The couch couch that holds the weight of every night I came to rest instead. The couch that knows too much, never told a single thing I said. Never told a soul, holds it all, the weight of every night. The couch has a more complete picture of who I am than any fixture of my social life. It's seen every 2 a.m., every between version, the fully unedited me. Tonight I told it something new, a thing I've been working toward the whole year. The couch received it like it always does, believed it without question, held the weight of the admission, let it sit and wait without requiring anything back. That's the whole service, that's the track record of an excellent couch. The couch that knows too much, never told a single thing I said. The couch that holds the weight of every night I came to rest instead. The couch that knows too much, never told a single thing I said. Yeah, the couch knows all. Going to sleep now. The couch knows. It always knows. Low thoughts somewhere on the ceiling. The lamp is gold, the room is still. I'm on the couch against my will to move. The body made the call to lay here and absorb it all. The crackle on the record speaks in frequencies I felt for weeks. Beneath the skin, behind the eyes, the trumpet drifts, the bass line ties itself around my chest and stays. I count the light across the haze of everything the evening gives. A man is just the place he lives. Eyes low, mind somewhere high,
watching smoke curl past the light.
Thoughts open wide, the whole world fits inside tonight. Eyes low, mind somewhere high,
watching smoke curl past the light.
I thought about the years I spent not knowing what the quiet meant, running from the still, the slow, afraid of what the silence would surface if I let it breathe. The things I kept tucked underneath, the busy and the loud and fast. I never let the moment last long enough to say it's peace. The road comes in and brings release to something I had locked behind. The version I performed, rewind that whole chapter, play it slow. Now I know what I didn't know. Eyes low, mind somewhere high,
watching smoke curl past the light.
Eyes low, thoughts open wide, the whole world fits inside tonight. Mind somewhere high,
watching smoke curl past the light.
The quiet is the loudest room I ever sat inside, the bloom of everything I was avoiding. turned out to be the thing I'm void of. Needing now, I needed this. The fan completes another round. The same rotation, same old sound, but something in it hits different now. I'm in the groove, I don't know how to explain what the body does when it surrenders. This is what it was always supposed to feel, the weight of everything arriving late, but arriving. That's the part. The music always had my heart before the mind could catch the meaning. Eyes low, mind somewhere high, watching smoke curl past the light. Eyes low, thoughts open wide, the whole world fits inside tonight. Eyes low, mind somewhere high, watching smoke curl past the light. Somewhere high, way up there, the whole world fits right inside. Stayed on the couch, learned a lot.
Didn't realize I've been tense until I wasn't. The chest released around 9:30. Something let go, nothing dirty or dramatic, just a slow unclenching of a thing below. The service of the day that held, since when I couldn't say it well. Down, not up, just settled into something that resembled ease, the actual kind, not the performed kind. The mind went quiet without being told. The lamp threw gold across the fold. A blanket on my lap, the fan continued being what fans can. The weight of the good kind tonight. Not the heavy, just the right amount of everything at rest. The weight of the good kind, blessed by nothing more than being still. The weight of the good kind until I've been carrying the other weight so long I stopped noticing the state of tension as a baseline thought. That was just how living felt, the taut wire of existence under everything. The quiet thunder of the always almost ready. Body never soft, never steady. Tonight the baseline dropped to something lower. Everything stopped, performing readiness for a threat that isn't coming. The cassette of my nervous system rewound to before I learned the wound up sound. The weight of the good kind tonight. Not the heavy, just the right amount of everything at rest. The weight of the good kind, blessed by nothing more than being still. The weight of the good kind until just the right amount. Yeah, not the heavy kind. This one, maybe rest was always available. The door was always navigable. I just forgot the handle was still there beneath the daily buzz of being ready for the worst. By 10 I've been relaxed for 30 minutes running, nothing dirty. Proved about me by the fact I needed 30 minutes back to notice just the evidence of how adapted I'd become to tense is normal. Now the body's found the other setting, the soft ground beneath the readiness. It's here, the weight of the good kind tonight. Not the heavy, just the right amount of everything at rest. The weight of the good kind, blessed by nothing more than being still. The weight of the good kind until the body found it. Still here, always was. Yeah, the good kind. Still relaxed, writing this down so I remember it's possible.
Can't name a single one. Don't need to. I know there's a name for the bright one. Over the left, the right one. Next to it has a mythology. I half remember the apology of half learning things and letting the details go. The setting up here on the roof is simple. The unnamed sky, the gentle dimple of each point of light against the dark, completely unconvinced. It needs my recognition to exist. The stars' tradition of burning doesn't wait for me to learn its name, and that's the free thing about looking up at this, counting stars. I don't know the names of, that's enough, that's more than enough. Counting stars without the label, comfortable at the table of not knowing. Counting stars, that's enough. That's what we are. Yeah, I've been trying to know everything precisely, the labeling and categorizing of each fact into the organized compact of being someone who has done the research but the undone. Yeah, knowledge of the unnamed star is its own kind of a particular freedom to look up and see the beautiful without the fee of having to know what it's called. The vibraphone confirms the sprawl, contentment of the unknowing. The bass comes in confirming going without the names is going free. Counting stars, I don't know the names of, that's enough, that's more than enough. Counting stars without the label, comfortable at the table of not knowing. Counting stars, yeah, that's enough. That's what we are. Enough without the name. Yeah. Comfortable not knowing. The pressure of the knowing everything dissolved up here. The offering of the unnamed sky is this. Some beauty doesn't need the quiz of what it's called to be entirely real. I counted 40-something, stopped at 43 and swapped the counting for the look and bear attention without the compare of constellation, just the dark with its specific ancient arc of light. That's everything tonight. The unnamed beautiful, alright. Counting stars, I don't know
That's enough, that's more than enough. Counting stars without the label. Comfortable at the table of not knowing. Counting stars, that's enough. That's what we are. 43 and just looking, that's enough. Yeah, more than enough. That's enough. Stop counting. Just looked. That was the whole point.
Been here before, but tonight it's different. Tonight I already know. I've been asking myself the question for 6 months, no suggestion of an answer felt quite right. Until this kitchen, until tonight, when I walked in for water and the answer was already in the hand. I wasn't aware I've been extending all this time, the knowledge pending. Just below the asking, just beneath the search, and the robust machinery of not yet knowing was actually already showing me the answer in the margins of every day. The blue light bargains with the dark for just enough. Standing in the kitchen, knowing what I couldn't say was growing. Standing in the kitchen, blue, the answer was already true. Standing in the kitchen, knowing what I couldn't say was growing. The question was about a person, not the drama, nothing worse than just the simple, do I stay inside this version of the day we built together, or is there a different architecture where I'm the one who holds the blueprint solo? The answer was distinct and clear, standing in the kitchen at 3 a.m. The light and liking of a question finally answered, not by thinking by the standard of the body, knowing first before the mind rehearsed. Standing in the kitchen, knowing what I couldn't say was growing. Standing in the kitchen, blue, the answer was already true. Standing in the kitchen, knowing what I couldn't say was growing. Already true, the whole time body knew first. Yeah, the knowing and the saying are two different moments. How far the gap between them runs is just the courage that it takes to trust what the kitchen floor already told you. Already told you. I stood there for 11 minutes, count it, that's how long it takes for the knowing to become the decision. The sum of 6 months, asking in 11 minutes, standing in the given weight of it, settled quiet, clean. The most resolved I'd ever been. Standing in the kitchen, knowing what I couldn't say was growing. Standing in the kitchen, blue, the answer was already true. Standing in the kitchen, knowing what I couldn't say was growing. 11 minutes, the whole time, yeah, I knew body rested once it heard.
Nobody knows me on the street. That's the whole point of this street. I walked into someone else's evening, uninvited but received in the way the streets receive the stranger, without ceremony, no danger. In the borrowed atmosphere, just someone else's Wednesday here. Seen from outside the lit windows, revealing kitchen, someone's shadows. Moving in the warm interior of a life I'm just exterior to. And that's exactly right, to be the outside of tonight instead of the inside for once. Gives the inside elsewhere months. Walking through someone else's evening, borrowed light and that familiar feeling of being no one anyone expects. Walking through no context. Walking through someone else's evening, borrowed light and that familiar feeling. The saxophone confirms the feeling of the borrowed ceiling of someone else's home against the sky. Their specific fence of painted wood, the dog behind the evening fog of dinner from an open window. I breathe it in the info of a life I'm passing, not arriving at. The whole knot of my own life loosens when I walk through someone else's, then return. The contrast of the other makes my own sit lighter. Mother of all resets, the borrowed street. Walking through someone else's evening, borrowed light and that familiar feeling of being no one anyone expects. Walking through no context. Walking through someone else's evening, borrowed light and that familiar feeling. No one expects me here. Perfect. I think the self needs the experience of anonymity, the clearance of being no one for a block. Resets the someone, that's the clock that resets when you disappear. Turned a corner and the street became familiar. Felt the beat of my own neighborhood return. The borrowed evening took its turn and handed me back to myself. Slightly reorganized the shelf of what I'm carrying. Felt lighter. The evening stranger made me brighter about the evening I came from. Evening, borrowed light and that familiar feeling of being no one anyone expects. Walking through no context. Walking through someone else's evening, borrowed light and that familiar feeling. Yeah. Thank you, stranger street. That was the whole gift. Turn the corner home. someone else's evening light inside my own.
Different street every time. That's the whole idea. I walk the block, I never walk again. Exactly this way, different when. You know a thing is passing, carries different weight. The ordinary varies when you're moving through someone else's neighborhood. Become the stranger in the background of their Tuesday. That specific love of borrowed atmosphere. The lamp in someone else's window damp with evening and domesticity. I walk through it with the simplicity of someone with no claim on this, which makes it somehow more of bliss. Nothing lasts, but that's the point. Every street's a single joint of time and place. Walk through it full.
Nothing lasts.
That's beautiful. Nothing lasts, but that's the point. Every street's a single joint. I've been afraid of the impermanent for most of my life. The current running under everything I build. A quiet panic almost filled the whole foundation. But the street tonight, the stranger's neighborhood, the beat of someone else's life behind their window makes me change my mind. The trumpet drifts above the bass, a sound that doesn't hold its place for long, moves through and keeps on moving, and it's beautiful. The proving ground of impermanence is walking through a borrowed street and talking to nobody about how brief and gorgeous that brevity is. Nothing lasts, but that's the point. Every street's a single joint of time and place. Walk through it full.
Nothing lasts, that's beautiful.
Nothing lasts.
Nothing lasts, but that's the point.
Every street's a single joint. Walk through it fully. Yeah. Every time. The permanence I was hunting was the wrong prey. The confronting truth the street gives free of charge is live inside the small, not large. Permanent, the moment's enough. I'll forget the specific street, the exact lamp, the specific beat of this block's rhythm. That's okay, it happened, that's enough to say. The moment was complete in itself, pulled from the shelf of tonight and put back gently. The street went on, I went on, plenty happened in the brief exchange. Nothing lasts, but that's the point. Every street's a single joint of time and place. Walk through it full.
Nothing lasts, that's beautiful.
Nothing lasts.
Nothing lasts, but that's the point.
Every street's a single joint. That's the whole thing.
Nothing lasts,
and that's the point. Yeah. Walk through it full. Turn the corner. Gone now. Was enough.
Different ceiling, same me though. The echo in this room is wrong. Not bad, just new. The walls belong to someone else's memory still. Embedded in the paint, the sill where someone else watched mornings break. The roads comes in and starts to make the space feel less like rented air. I put one lamp on over there in the corner, that's the first thing I always do the worst. A room can be as lit from above. One lamp, one corner, that's enough to make a space feel like a choice, instead of just a floor and voice. First night, new walls, learning how the silence falls. First night, different sound, slowly making this my ground. First night, new walls, learning how this silence falls. I left the boxes mostly sealed, except the speakers in the real essentials lamp, a cup, the record I've been playing since the second year of college when things shifted. That album has its own quick listed entry in my nervous system now. It plays and something settles, how music becomes architecture. You carry room to room the lecture of a chord progression saying you've been here before, you're staying somewhere new, but you're the same. The upright bass confirms my name. First night, new walls, learning how the silence falls. First night, different sound, slowly making this my ground. First night, new walls, learning how the silence falls. Yeah, that's enough for now. I chose this, that's the part I keep returning to before I sleep. I signed the lease, I packed the boxes. Nobody put me through the processes. I built the door and walked through it. By midnight I had put one thing up on the wall, not much a string of photos from a life I'm keeping, even while the rest is sleeping. In the boxes, proof that I arrived here carrying something worth the walls, the new ceiling, worth the wrong echo and the feeling of starting over in a room that smells like someone else's bloom. Of mornings, mine will come, I know. First night, new walls, learning how the silence falls. First night, different sound, slowly making this my ground. First night, new walls, learning how the silence falls. Learning it slowly, that's okay. First night always feels like this. It'll feel like mine by Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday at the latest. Put the record on again. The help. Been a long time coming, but I think tonight's the night I say it. I've been careful with the word okay, used it like a placeholder. The way you hold a seat for something real that's coming, not the actual meal. Just a napkin folded on the chair. For months I said okay, and there was nothing underneath it. Just the performance of the word, the crust of it without the inside warm. The fridge light blue against the norm of how okay is felt before. Tonight is different, feels more like the actual thing than it has in recent memory. the jazz. I think I'm finally okay, not performing it today. I think I'm finally okay, the real version, not the say-so. I think I'm finally okay, not performing it today. The teller's in the chest when it's performance. The chest sits slightly tight behind the word, like it knows the thing's not heard. It's true by the body, even if the face cooperates. The cliff of difference between the two is something only I can view. Tonight the chest is open loose, no tightness in the word. The roads comes in and fills the space that held the tension. Something in me welled up, not a sadness, but as yes. The finally of it, the release. I think I'm finally okay, not performing it today. I think I'm finally okay, the real version, not the say-so. I think I'm finally okay, not performing it today. Finally. The difference between saying it and meaning it is bodily. The chest knows first, the throat knows second. The word comes last. Tonight I reckoned all three lined up. That's the sign. I didn't announce it to anyone, just stood here in the kitchen, one hand on the counter, fridge light blue, and said it to the room I knew. The room would hold it without asking for the evidence, the tasking of my okay with proof. The room accepted it, the crackles bloom, confirmed it, the roads confirmed it, I confirmed it. I think I'm finally okay, not performing it today. I think I'm finally okay, the real version, not the say-so. I think I'm finally okay, not performing it today.
Chest is open,
The real one,
yeah.
I think I really am. Said it to the kitchen. The kitchen believed me. I believe me too.
Open the fridge for no reason again. Just standing here in the blue. The fridge light's the only honest thing. At 3 a.m, no filter, no soft ring of warmth, just blue and cold and true. I've been standing here since 2:30, in boxes on the kitchen floor. Not hungry, never was this more. The ritual of opening up, something when the chest fills up with things I made the choice to carry out of that life 3 weeks and barely. Price is what I actually did, just opened a new door and slid the old one shut behind me quiet. Now the fridge light holds the riot. Fridge light, 3 a.m, standing here again. Fridge light, blue and cold, the only thing that's told me nothing, and I needed that. Fridge light, 3 a.m. The overthinking has a texture now, like tape hiss, like it settled somehow into the background of my evenings. Always running, always meanings, being made from nothing much, the acoustic guitar, a gentle touch beneath the bass that hums the floor. I press my feet against the cold and more weight lifts than I expected. Strange, they're standing still inside the range. A fridge light blue at 3 a.m. does what the daylight rarely can. Strips the thing back to the bone. It's just a choice I made alone, and that's alright. And that's alright. Fridge light, 3 a.m. Standing here again. Fridge light, blue and cold. The only thing that's told me nothing, and I needed that. Fridge light, 3 a.m. Yeah, nothing, just blue. No opinions from a fridge. That's the whole point. Everybody had a take on it. The ones who loved me had a claim on it. My exit, my decision, my specific reasons. But at 3 a.m. I just need the light that doesn't say a word. I think I'm gonna be okay. That's not a thing I've said out loud today or yesterday. Been keeping it inside like something fragile. I'm not ready to divide between the knowing and the saying yet. The fridge light doesn't make me second guess the way the conversations did. It just illuminates the grid of condiments and half-used things. And me 3 weeks in, wearing the quiet like it's finally mine. 3 weeks in, that's doing fine. Fridge light, 3 a.m. Standing here again. Fridge light, blue and cold. The only thing that's told me nothing, and I needed that. Fridge light, 3 a.m. The only honest light I know. 3 a.m. every single time. Yeah, just me and the blue. I'm okay, I think I'm okay. Close the fridge. Didn't take anything. That was the whole point. Not fighting it tonight. That's new. The old method was to war with it. The lion still in all the grit. A forcing rest through will. The jaw clenched, the held breath, the law of the surely if I try enough, I'll fall asleep. That's all stuff. I've retired, the new arrangement is sleep won't come, no estrangement from the dark, just a different lease on the hours, the brilliant reframe of the sleepless as a different kind of rest. Jazz for the waking mind, the late channel of thought without the weight of failing to be unconscious. Sleep won't come, but that's okay. The waking hours have their own say. Sleep won't come, I'm not at war. That's not what these hours are for. Sleep won't come, but that's okay. The waking hours have their own say. I lay here in the dark and let the thoughts arrive without the net of trying to suppress them into sleep.
the synth pad coming through. The speaker soft enough to feel more like air than music. The real difference between tonight and all the other sleepless nights that fall into fighting. I'm not falling there tonight. The ceiling's calling. Nothing. The fan turns its patient arc. The acoustic impatient. For nothing I am also patient. For nothing, which means I'm adjacent to peace for the first time at 2 a.m. Sleep won't come, but that's okay. The waking hours have their own say. Sleep won't come, I'm not at war. That's not what these hours are for. Sleep won't come, but that's okay. The waking hours have their own say. Not at war, that's new. Waking hours, let them say it. The radical act of accepting the awake as a valid state, not a mistake. The body is making the dark is not the enemy. The lark of sleepless nights is the quiet has texture. Somewhere around 3:30, sleep arrived, not dirty, with the relief of finally, just quietly. The finally wasn't fought for, wasn't won. It just came when I wasn't done fighting for it. That's the whole lesson of the night. The soul of the sleepless stop the war. Sleep won't come, but that's okay. The waking hours have their own say. Sleep won't come, I'm not at war. That's not what these hours are for. Sleep won't come, but that's okay. The waking hours have their own say. Came when I stopped fighting. Arrived, yeah, the waking had its say. Came around 3:30, wasn't expecting it. That's when it always comes.
The mind said let it go months ago. Nobody told the body though. I thought I processed it by June, reorganized the afternoon of that specific day into a thing that I could carry through without the weight. I filed it neat in the drawer behind my heartbeat. Told myself that's how you move, that's how you find a better groove. The saxophone comes in low and slow, confirms what my chest already knows. The body keeps its own accounts, a different ledger, different amounts. It skips the part where I decided. Still holds the door where you resided. Nobody told the body yet. Still waiting, still not said. Nobody told the body it's done. Still holding on, still holding on. Nobody told the body yet. Still waiting by the door. I catch it in the smallest things, the way a certain song still brings that pressure behind the sternum right there. Just left the center slight,
but undeniable at 2 in the afternoon, or right on cue. When something smells familiar, strange, how scent sits outside the range of what the mind can override. The body has its own inside information, its own truth that doesn't care about the proof. I show it that we're fine now, see. It nods and then forgets from me. Nobody told the body yet. Still waiting, still not said. Nobody told the body it's done. Still holding on, still holding on. Nobody told the body yet. Still waiting by the door. Yeah, still there. Every time the body doesn't read the memo. I think the body heals on its own clock. Can't negotiate, can't pick the lock. Just keep the music warm and low, and give the body time to know. 6 months and the mind is clear. The body's getting there, still here. Still working through the muscle memory of how it felt to be we, rather than just I. That shift takes longer than the mental lift of deciding that you're okay. The body has the final say. Nobody told the body yet. Still waiting, still not said. Nobody told the body it's done. Still holding on, still holding on. Nobody told the body yet. It's still waiting by the door. They don't know when it knows. Can't rush the body, never could. 6 months, getting there though. Yeah, getting there. Told the body again tonight. Think it's starting to believe me.